Hey there, my name's Alana, and the one job that I'm going to be reviewing for you today is a water cut operator within the mining industry. A typical day on site for me looks like this. So I wake up at about 3 a.m. in the morning, my alarm goes off, and then I will have a shower and get ready for work. So I'll put on my uniform or maybe go get my washing out of the laundry, whatever it might be, I'll put it in there. And then pretty much I'll wait around until about 4 o'clock, when I will then go over to the mess. I'll have breakfast, sometimes with my crew, sometimes with other people, or by myself, or I'll just listen to the news or whatever it might be. And then I'll go and get my crib. So crib is basically the food that you're going to eat for the day at your smoko on lunchtime. So pack a little crib container, go get your salads or whatever it might be, some chicken, and yeah, then I will wait around until 5 a.m. when I will jump on the bus with my crew and we'll head up to the site. So takes us about 15 minutes to get up to site on the bus, and from there we will go into the main office where we will have a pre-start. So we'll also do a breatho before we get into before we start the pre-start. So the breatho blowing in the bag just to make sure that nobody is pissed. And then the supervisor will do the pre-start, telling us any safety information, what we're doing for the day, equipment we're operating, whether anything needs to go into the mechanic or whatever it may be, who we're working with, what areas we're working on, etc., etc. And then from there, after the pre-start, we will all go and jump into the LVs and be driven over or drive ourselves over to the go line. The go line's where all the equipment is parked up. And I will then jump into my truck. I'll do a pre-start inspection, make sure that everything is good to go. If there are any issues, I'll either get in contact with our mechanic or I will let our supervisor know as well. And then pretty much we all work out where we're going for the day, and we will go and go and do our job. From there, pretty much my job looks like this. I will be going between the stand pipe, which is where you go and fill the truck up, and I will be watering down the whole site, the whole plant. So pretty much every single road there, I will be watering just to suppress all the dust, because it can get very dusty on the site. I'll also get call outs to come to different work areas to water down their roads for them, or different jobs like cement, or within our own crew, different areas that they might have just graded the roads and they need some water, or they've created a pad and rolled it, and then they also need that to have water on it. I might also jump into different equipment such as loaders, the grader, whatever, absolutely anything, the roller, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of variety in the job. It can get a little bit boring sometimes because you're in a cab for 12 hours. So I entertain myself by listening to podcasts and, the news and whatever it may be, books on tape, just anything like that. So you kind of have to be a little bit able to entertain yourself in between listening to the radio and doing your job, obviously. So at 10 o'clock we have smoko, so we'll all go back to the crib room and, just have a 15-minute break. 2 o'clock is lunchtime, so same thing, back to the crib room. We'll all have lunch together, which is pretty cool. And then, the rest of the day in between that, I'm just watering down those roads. At about 4:30, what I'll do is I'll start cleaning up the cab. So any rubbish, remove it just to make sure it's clean. I will wipe down any of the surfaces because I like to have a clean cab anyway. Remove any rubbish that might have been whatever throughout the day, and then I'll also go and wash the truck sometimes and make sure that it's refueled at the end of the shift. So at 4:45 we'll then head up to the go line again to park up our vehicles. We'll get all our pre-start inspections and paperwork such as take 5s out of the cab, and then we will usually just walk over to the office. So the office is right near where the bus picks us up, so we'll drop everything off and just wait around for the bus at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, back to the camp again, where after work I will go and do anything. So I'll potentially go to the gym, I might go to the wet mess with the crew and my mates, I might go to just make phone calls, just do whatever, do my laundry, whatever it may be, to entertain myself, watch TV. I'll have dinner at about 6 o'clock. My crew and I will either go to the wedding where we'll have some barbecue, or we will just go to the mess. So that's pretty much what a typical day looks like for me working on site. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like, you do that for 14 days. Sometimes you'll do that on night shift as well. And yeah, I think a water cart operator is a pretty cool job. So some of the pros are that you're always on the move, so you don't really you've always got something to do. And being on a mine site, obviously, it's extremely dusty. So water cart, you're never short of work, that's for sure, unless it's raining or there's a cyclone or something like that. But then you can definitely go into operate different machinery. So that's also a pro of what I love. I love the fact that I get to be paid to drive around listening to podcasts, which is pretty cool. I love the crew that I work with. They're all really, really awesome. And another pro is that you can get up the ladder quite quickly. So operating different machinery, which then takes your pay up. So some of the cons are, like I said, it can get a little bit boring. So you have to entertain yourself, work out ways. And obviously being away from your family, that can be hard as well. But the money is definitely worth it. So I've been working in the mining industry since 2001. I started off as a cleaner and I worked in the kitchen, and pretty much from there I ended up going on to driving buses and trucks and working in civil, and I've been to about 20 something different mine sites, which is pretty awesome. My first FIFO job was working at an 18-man site, and I loved it. Like, a lot of people don't want to do the utility role, but I thought it was awesome. You get paid to work out, and just the mining industry. You see so many cool things, like the animals, the environment. You meet the best people ever. You make the best mates out there, that's for sure. But if you're anything like me, I was 18 when I got my first job, and I was terrified. So be prepared for that. Getting into the mining industry was really easy for me. Like I said, I actually had an interview when I was 17 for this job, and the lady was like, sorry, you can't go up there till you're 18. So luckily for me, it was actually a couple of days before I turned 18. I had everything. I just needed a manual driver's license, which I had. So, that was far too easy. There you go. A couple of weeks after I had turned 18, I was on my first plane to my very first mine site, which was awesome. So I currently work a 2-in-1 roster, which is the standard in the mining industry. There's also different rosters like 2-and-2, even time, 4-and-1. I did 4-and-1 for 5 years, which is a long time, but it was really great because it allowed me to save heaps of money, buy a house, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm on about $2,500 a week, which is really, really good. I think anyway, for the mines. You can earn more than that, and my goal from here is that I actually want to get onto the graders. So the grader operators are on about $60 to $70 an hour, which is some really, really good cash. So that's what my objective is. Like I said, all I needed for this job was an HR license, including to operate all the other stuff. I did go out and get other licenses only because I wanted them myself. So I've got roller, water cart, tipper truck, a whole ton of different licenses and qualifications now. And the best thing about the mining industry is the money, and just seriously the people that you meet. They are really, really awesome. I've made some of my best mates who will be mates for life, which is really, really awesome. The biggest challenge working in the industry is definitely being away from your friends and family, but again, you make more, so all good. And operating a water cart would be the perfect job for somebody who can entertain themselves. So, and who wants to move up the ranks. And dump trucks for me it's not something that interests me because they're quite boring. I can have the opportunity also to go into the production side of it and operate dump trucks, but it doesn't really interest me, to be honest. So my number one tip for somebody wanting to or new to the mining industry is to stay out of the politics and keep your eye on the prize. Have a goal, have an exit plan. In fact, that's several tips. But stay out of the politics because you're away from your support network and it can get hard. Little issues can turn into big issues, which you don't want. So I definitely say to anyone, stay out of the politics, save your money, invest it wisely, and yeah, just enjoy what you're doing. Like, look for jobs, look around, see what other jobs exist within the mining industry, and go from there, because there's so many options. The job I want next is operating a grader. Like I said, $60 to $70 per hour is what I'm after. I want a 2-on-1 roster, and my dedication is, like, what I can bring to the table is obviously 16 years plus experience within the mining industry. I know all about different safety systems, take 5. I have a flawless safety record, and I believe I would be an awesome candidate for employment with your business. So that's it. Hopefully this was helpful, and water cart's definitely an awesome opportunity. So get into it.